475 days ago, I did exactly the opposite of what everybody told me to do, and I switched to AMD. Here we are, 475 days later, and I am still extremely happy that I made that decision. So, guys, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today we're talking about the bull crap misinformation out there about AMD. So, guys, if you're new to the channel, or you're just showing up and you just found this channel, you just found this. I switched 475 days ago from using NVIDIA as my GPU over to AMD because I was sick and tired. Well, obviously because I got mad. I just bought a 3080 10 gig. It was starting to have trouble playing games. I was starting to get pretty frustrated. I was pretty new to the PC space. Now I've obviously been here for a couple of years doing this stuff, doing the same old thing, fighting the daily fight for AMD, just to show that, like, man, it's absolutely crazy, the misinformation out there about AMD and the way that people just put NVIDIA on this pedestal and say it's the best just for no apparent reason. So some of the stuff that had me worried, because I'll be honest with you, I was worried, man. Like, I was literally like, oh my gosh, man, I'm gonna try AMD and I'm gonna be mad. And like the thing was it was like there were 16 gigs of VRAM for like the 6800 XT, and you know, it was so frustrating. It was so frustrating to feel like I had got shafted by NVIDIA. And you know, like, I was mad. Like, I was pretty bitter at first, too. When I came over to AMD, I bought a 7900 XT. Literally the second best card in the AMD stack. Right now, I'm currently rocking a 7900 XTX. But I did go through this year trying out the 7600 XT, the 7800 XT, and then obviously the 7900 XT. But I did try some NVIDIA cards. I bought a 4070, I bought a 4070 Super, and then I bought a 4080 Super, and I still decided to keep AMD after all of that. This is not a video to discredit NVIDIA or anything like that. NVIDIA is absolutely awesome. If you do find yourself with an NVIDIA card, you probably be happy. For my case, I was new to PC. I was trying to get my footing, and you know what? AMD has delivered every single thing that I've needed it to do. It works fine with my editing software. It does perfect playing the games that I want to play. Like, I don't have any issues with that. I get ray tracing on basically everything that isn't in isn't in NVIDIA, you know, optimized game for it. I mean, like, take Cyberpunk for instance. I get regular ray tracing with that game, and it's easy to run at 3440 by 1440p, but if I try to do the path tracing, obviously I have issues. But I mean, you're having issues with NVIDIA GPUs too. No card can run those at native 4K 60 with path tracing without using some form of upscaling. AMD definitely needs a better upscaler. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you that FSR2 is perfect, but you know, that we hear so much about these upscalers and ray tracing and all of this stuff now. They are literally raising the price higher and higher and higher for these GPUs, and we're literally getting bare minimum upgrades. Now I get it. You know, if you look across the spectrum for all the games that have launched since the PS5 and the Xbox Series X have come out, you've literally seen the visuals not really get any better. But you've obviously seen, like, ray tracing start to tank your performance. Every time we get close to a new generation, that ray tracing performance tanks. Like, you'll watch, 4090 is already starting to get hit pretty hard with these games that are coming out, and they're doing the ray tracing. I mean, like, rasterized performance, no problem. 4090, walk right through it. 4080, walk right through it. It doesn't matter. But when you look at the end game, man, like, you're not paying for rasterized performance anymore. You're literally paying for more ray tracing performance every generation that comes out. That's what you're paying for now. And to me, man, ray tracing is just not in a place where it's worth it to where you're gonna spend that much money over something that you could do with an AMD GPU. Like, it just doesn't make sense anymore at this point. Like, if we were just doing rasterization still and like ray tracing didn't exist, like, AMD is like right there. Like it is incredible how incredible these games look running at native resolution on a 3440 by 1440p monitor. It looks incredible. There's even games that I'm literally playing at 4K, native 4K with a 7900 XT X. There were even games that I was playing with a 7900 XT. And you're playing these games at native 4K and you're thinking to yourself, you're like, gosh dang, man, I paid like a fraction of the price that somebody paid for a 4090 and I get to play this at 4K. And then when you look at the ray tracing performance across so many different games out there are a lot of games that actually you utilize ray tracing on them just fine. Like just fine. They play good. You can turn it all on. I literally played through all of Star Wars Outlaws with all of the ray tracing except for the NVIDIA ray trace global illumination or whatever the freak it was. That was the only one that I didn't have turned on because if I set it to ultra, then it really takes the frame rate to like 30 frames per second. And you have to use like frame generation and everything just to get it back, or ultra performance FSR or whatever. But if I set that to like medium and under, like it would play just fine. But I ended up turning that completely off, playing through it with all the rest of the ray tracing. So I got my reflections, my shadows, all of that stuff in the game looked incredible, and it played just fine. Like I was like, wow, this is incredible. So when you look at that, and that being like the only thing that people are like, oh man, like ray tracing and DLSS and all of that stuff, it's not as big of a difference as a lot of these people try to make it out to be. Completely honestly, like it is not that big of a difference. Like obviously, you're gonna have problems with DLSS and NVIDIA and everything, just like you're going to with AMD. Neither one of them are absolutely perfect. So to put one of them on a pedestal and down and dismiss the other one, that to me just doesn't make sense. If anything you ever take from these videos that I make is that, look, man, AMD is an option. It might not be the option you want, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get better bang for your buck. You're not gonna have to worry about scalpers, and you're gonna be able to get a gaming experience that is more than going to satisfy you for gaming. Now, if you need it for work or whatever else, you have to do what you have to do for what you need. If you absolutely cannot use AMD for your work, then I'm sorry, man. That sucks for you. That sucks that there's not a more affordable option out there for you. But if you're making money with it, boom, it's a no-brainer. Buy what you gotta buy. But if you are just gaming, if you're gaming, that's all you're doing is just gaming, AMD will 100% satisfy you. And yes, you can use AMD for the other stuff. Rockham's coming along just fine. You'll be able to use AMD to do a lot of stuff. Like I said in the beginning of this, I use it to do AMD powers my channel, literally powers my channel. And you see the content that I put out. You see the high quality level of content, 4K, everything that I can put out on my channel, editing it, running through my software, all of that stuff. Like you can see it with your own eyes that this channel is run by AMD and it does just fine. So I don't know, guys, 475 days seems like a lot of time to be running AMD. Will I ever go back to NVIDIA? Yeah, obviously. I'm definitely not opposed to buying NVIDIA. Like I'm not. Like it's pretty cool. Right now, AMD really just does everything I need it to do. Like the Adrenaline software is probably it's incredible. People can try to tell me until they're blue in the face that there's no difference between the colors, but AMD color is significantly better than what I can get out of the NVIDIA side. I don't care about your RTX HDR. HDR looks better on my freaking AMD card. It just does to me. I'm more into the colors and stuff. Everybody else is like, oh, the dynamic range, and I love the wider color gamut from HDR more than I like the dynamic contrast ratio. That to me is worth more than the really dark and really bright. I think AMD does a better job with the colors, but that's just me. So, and I've tried both of them on the exact same screens, and I always come back to I like the way AMD looks, and I like the visuals better. I like the fact that I can utilize things like AMD's fluid motion frames on all DX11, all DX12, all OpenGL, all of freaking Loon. I can use it with Vulkan. I can literally add frame generation to any game I want, and it looks great most of the time. There are some games that it just does not work that great with, but for the most part, it really does work pretty dang good with a lot of games that you would play it on. Much better than you would actually think. So yeah, there's that. There's HyperRX. Just there are so many features in the AMD feature set, you know, utilizing virtual super resolution, which is essentially like DLSR or DSR. You can use virtual super resolution. You can run it at a higher resolution down sample. That's what I normally do, especially for like older games that they can run at like really ridiculous resolutions and high frame rates. I just run them, down sample them to my monitor, and it just looks incredible. I haven't come across anything that hasn't been pleasing to my eye since I've been using AMD. And I love it. I absolutely love it. That's why you keep getting these videos, and that's why I keep begging you for your subscription. No, I'm just joking. So if you guys like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, man. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.